I'm Betty. Welcome to my kitchen.
We recently hosted a surprise birthday party for my sister. And one of the desserts that I made in lieu of having a big birthday cake was this wonderful chocolate truffle cake, which, as you'll see, I'm going to bake in a big pan and then cut into rounds. But it was quite the hit of the party. But to start off with, I want to share with you my favorite way of lining a cake pan. So I've got a piece of foil cut more or less to size, and I've got it a little longer on the sides because I want to be able to lift out the whole cake when I'm finished. So I'll just start by folding down the edges and then sort of pleating in the corners for a nice sharp edge. The nice thing about foil, of course, is you don't have to be too precise because it will bend. And this cake it won't be very deep, so I'm not concerned about it coming all the way up the side. So once I've done that, I'll flip my pan over and insert sort of a custom-made lining. There we go. This is a great trick if you're making anything like brownies that you want to take out of the pan so that you can cut them neatly without scratching your cake pan too. And then, of course, we're going to butter it using my pet silicone brush and some soft butter. Just give that a quick brush. So the ingredients for this cake are 14 ounces of a good quality dark chocolate, which I've chopped and mixed together with 2/3 of a cup of butter. And that's obviously been melted and cooled. I'm going to add to that 5 egg whites, 1/3 of a cup of flour, and 2/3 of a cup of sugar, along with 5 egg yolks. But now that the chocolate is cooled, I'm just going to add these egg yolks. Together with the sugar and the flour. And we'll just stir this until it's well combined. So this is mixed to the point where I can't see any traces of the flour or the egg yolks, and I'm ready now to whisk my egg whites. And my favorite tool for doing this is this handy-dandy, it's part of my immersion blender with the whip, and it's a great tool for doing this. It's very quick. But of course you can also use a hand mixer. All right, my egg whites are beaten to nice stiff peaks. So now I'm just going to fold in about 1/3 of the mixture. I'll fold in quickly to the chocolate mixture. Just nice over and under motion. At this point, you don't have to be quite so careful because you're lightening your base mixture. This is a technique used in soufflés and all kinds of things. Just get that mixed in. This cake is truly a cross between a cake and a candy. It's quite delicious. Now that I've done that, I'll add this to the rest of my egg whites. Just really want to get all of that in there. And now I'll just fold in the rest of these. And I've got my oven preheated to 300 degrees, and this is going to bake for about 25 minutes or so, just until it's firm to the touch. Once baked, we'll cool it, cut out our little cake rounds, And I'll show you a couple of different ways to top these. Just about there. We don't want to see any white streaks remaining. And that is looking pretty good. Great. I'll transfer this to my prepared pan. As you can see with this, very few recipes, doesn't require a lot of tools. It's a very doable dessert. And we'll smooth this out in the pan. Make sure to get it into all the corners. And that looks pretty even. What I like to do with a cake like this is just give it a good shake like that. It helps even it out and make it smooth. So we're ready to pop this in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. As I said, just until it's firm to the touch. So my cake is out of the oven and it has cooled, and I'm ready to finish cutting out the little cakes that we're going to make from this and apply a couple of different finishes on top. And one of the finishes that I'm going to do is essentially a ganache. So what I have here is about 4 ounces of chopped chocolate, and I've got half a cup of heavy cream, which I have heated to almost boiling. I'm just going to put that and let it sit and let the cream do the job of melting the chocolate. Make sure that that's all in there. And that'll take a few minutes, and I'll just set that aside. So now I want to remove the cake from the pan. I'm just going to flip it over and release the foil. And there's our new assistant, Miss Molly. Yes, it is. Take the foil off. There we are. And I'm just going to slip this onto my cutting board. Well, that looks like it might have cracked a little bit, but I don't think that'll be a problem. So what I'm going to do is just stamp out as many rounds as I can for my cake. Over here. It's very dense, so we do have to encourage it out of the cutter a little bit. And we're not going to worry about that because our ganache will cover it and it'll look lovely. Just continue cutting rounds. In a perfect world, you'd get about 24 of these little cakes. But of course, when you're cutting out things like this, there are bound to be a few breakages. But don't throw them away. Cut them up into cubes and add them to some vanilla ice cream with a little hot fudge sauce, and you've got a world-class sundae on your hands. But to continue with these, my chocolate and cream are just about melted, and I'm going to blend these. Now this essentially is just ganache. And it's quite thin, nice pourable consistency. I'll just set this aside. And what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this and just pour it over each one. I've got some parchment paper under here to catch any drips. I'm not sure that this is even going to drip. And this just makes a lovely topping. These cakes are so rich. They're almost a cross between a fudge and a cake. So you don't want to make them much bigger than these, which are 2 inches. You could even make them smaller if you want to. So I'll continue with these. Now, if you don't want to do this lovely rich chocolate topping, what you could do is just sprinkle them with a little powdered sugar. If you want to be a little fancier, use any stencil of your choice. A heart might be pretty if you were doing an engagement party or something like that. But I'm just going to finish the rest of these with my lovely chocolate. Chocolate truffle cakes, a lovely addition to any dessert table. Enjoy.